Imagine being kidnapped at age 20 and spending the next 7 years of your life living inside a wooden box, in complete darkness, never knowing if you'd ever see daylight again. This is the disturbing true story of Colleen Stan, known as the Girl in the Box. The year was 1977. Colleen was an ordinary young woman from California, full of plans and dreams, when she decided to go on a trip to visit friends. What seemed like a normal day would turn into one of the most terrifying chapters in American criminal history. While hitchhiking, Colleen was approached by Cameron Hooker and his wife, Janice. The couple seemed harmless, a young man, a woman with a baby. Everything seemed safe, but this would be a death trap. Cameron Hooker was no ordinary man. Obsessed with domination and torture, he saw Colleen as the perfect victim to enact his cruelest fantasies. Shortly after offering a ride, Cameron detoured and revealed his true colors. He restrained Colleen and placed her inside a custom-made wooden box, where she would spend hours without fresh air, space to move, or light. This box, designed by Cameron, was a veritable instrument of psychological torture. Small, suffocating, and dark, it would become Colleen's new prison, not for hours or days, but for years. At the Hooker home, Colleen was forced to live in unimaginable conditions. Most of the time, she was confined inside the box placed under the couple's bed, as if it were merely an object hidden in plain sight. For long periods, Colleen could barely move. The space was so cramped that she couldn't stand, and the heat inside the box became unbearable. The simple act of breathing was a challenge. Cameron subjected her to regular sessions of physical and psychological torture. But the most devastating control came from a carefully crafted lie: the existence of a supposed secret organization called the Company. According to Cameron, this organization controlled sex slaves around the world and monitored Colleen's every move. If she tried to escape, the Company would kill her family. This manipulation kept her submissive for years. Colleen's mind was shaped by fear. She believed she was constantly being watched, and any attempt to resist could cost the lives of the people she loved. This system of psychological coercion was so effective that even when opportunities to escape arose, Colleen didn't. She was trapped, not just physically, but mentally. At times, Cameron allowed Colleen small freedoms, only to reinforce his manipulation. He let her out of the box to do household chores or even visit family, but always under threat. One of the most shocking episodes occurred when Colleen visited her parents years after the kidnapping. She spent the entire day with them, smiling for photos and acting as if she were fine. None of them suspected that their daughter would return to the wooden box that very night. This level of psychological control demonstrates the extent to which the human mind can be enslaved without visible chains. The prison was within her. Meanwhile, Cameron's wife, Janice, faced a moral dilemma. Initially complicit, she gradually became jealous and uncomfortable with Colleen's presence, but remained silent for years. Janice had also been a victim of Cameron's manipulation, subjected to constant abuse. But at the same time, his inaction allowed Colleen to remain captive for so long. A vida dentro da caixa era quase insuportável. No verão, a temperatura subia a níveis extremos, transformando o espaço em forno. No inverno, o frio congelava o corpo. Colleen adoecia frequentemente, mas não recebia cuidados. With each passing day, her sense of time faded. Without sunlight, without contact with the outside world, Colleen lost track of how long she had actually been trapped. Her body and mind went into survival mode. She learned to wait for hours without moving, to breathe slowly, and to remain calm in absolute darkness. Cameron, on the other hand, harbored increasingly sadistic fantasies. His stated goal was to create a kind of perfect slave, completely obedient and devoid of free will. He documented his practices, keeping journals about how he transformed Colleen into property. To him, she was not a person, but an object of possession. During her 7 years of captivity, Colleen endured unimaginable violence, yet her adaptability was extraordinary. She developed a mental resilience that ironically would help her survive. The key to this survival was hope. Even in the midst of despair, Colleen believed that somehow one day she would be free. This thread of hope kept her alive under conditions that would have utterly destroyed others. Her mind, even manipulated, still searched for a way out. The turning point in the story began when Janice, after years of silence, decided to confront Cameron. The weight of guilt and the fear of losing her own children led her to make a radical decision. Janice revealed the truth to Colleen. The company never existed. The entire narrative had been a fabrication by Cameron to maintain control. This revelation opened a psychological breach. For the first time, Colleen realized she might be able to escape, that Cameron's power wasn't as absolute as it seemed. Finally, in 1984, Colleen managed to break free. It wasn't a cinematic escape, but a gradual process, with the help of Janice, who broke the cycle of silence and reported Cameron to the authorities. The prison was over, but the trauma wasn't. After 7 years living as a prisoner in a box, Colleen would have to rebuild her identity and learn to live in freedom again. Cameron Hooker's trial shocked the world. He was sentenced to 104 years in prison for kidnapping and abuse, one of the largest verdicts of its time. The case brutally exposed the power of psychological manipulation. Cameron didn't need chains or bars. Well-constructed lies and the use of fear were enough to keep a person enslaved. Colleen, in turn, has become a symbol of survival. Her story is a harrowing testament to the fact that the human mind can endure unimaginable horrors and still find a way to endure. Speaking publicly about her experience, Colleen highlighted the importance of recognizing signs of abuse and manipulation, warning about the dangers of psychological control. The box where she was kept is still remembered as one of the most terrifying symbols of human cruelty, a small physical space, but with a gigantic impact on the psyche. This case also raises disturbing questions about the depths of human submission when dominated by fear. Which is stronger, the chains of the body or the chains of the mind? The kidnapping of Colleen Stan is still studied today in criminology and psychology courses as an extreme example of brainwashing and coercive submission. For the public, the shock remains. How could a young woman in the midst of modern society live 7 years as an invisible prisoner without almost anyone noticing? The answer lies in the power of psychological manipulation, a weapon as devastating, if not more so, than any physical prison. The real prison, in this case, was in Colleen's mind. Did you enjoy the content? Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more mind-boggling insights where we reveal what many prefer to ignore.